probably feel like you're losing your mind, like there's someone living rent-free in your head. Someone who probably hasn't thought about you once today, not even this week, maybe not ever. And yet, here you are, replaying a conversation, rereading a message, looking for something you're not even sure was ever there. And if you've caught yourself doing that, this video is for you. Because here's what no one tells you. The reason you can't stop thinking about them has nothing to do with how special they are. Instead, it has everything to do with how your brain is wired. We are going to break this down into 3 psychological locks, the 3 precise reasons your mind keeps returning to someone who doesn't return your calls. And by the end, you won't just understand them better, you will understand yourself in a way that might set you free. Point 1. The slot machine effect. I first came across the science behind this reading by Dr. Amir Levine and Rachel Heller, who spent years mapping adult attachment patterns. But the original discovery goes further back. In the 1950s, B.F. Skinner ran a now famous experiment with pigeons. He gave one group food every single time they pressed a lever, predictable and consistent. He gave another group food, sometimes on the first press and sometimes on the 20th, with no pattern at all. So, which group pressed the lever more obsessively? The second group, every time without exception. Because a guaranteed reward trains your brain to expect, then stop craving. But an unpredictable reward, that hijacks your dopamine system entirely. Dopamine isn't released when you receive the reward. It is released in the anticipation. Now, think about this person you can't stop thinking about. Did they ever give you just enough? A moment of warmth, followed by sudden coldness? A compliment that felt so real and then seemed to evaporate? That inconsistency isn't just painful. Neurologically, it is one of the most addictive patterns the human brain can experience. You are not weak. You are a pigeon. And your mind is pressing the lever. The Zeigarnik loop. Here is where I used to make the mistake that kept me stuck for far longer than I was supposed to be. I thought that the solution was closure. One final conversation. I thought if I could just finish the story, my mind would finally let go. But that thinking was exactly what was keeping me trapped. In the 1920s, a psychologist named Bluma noticed something peculiar while sitting in a Viennese cafe. The waiters there could hold incredibly complex multi-course orders in memory with perfect accuracy. But the moment a table paid their bill, the memory dissolved almost instantly. An unfinished task creates a specific kind of mental tension that keeps your brain open, keeps returning to it, searching endlessly for resolution. This became known as the Zeigarnik effect, and your brain is treating this person as an unfinished task. The mistake I made, and that most people make, is believing that closure can only come from them. One more conversation, one more explanation, but as long as you believe that the loop can be closed by the other person, you hand them permanent residence to your mind. You make them the only key to a lock that was always yours to open. This iconic effect doesn't require their participation to resolve. It requires yours. The resolution isn't a conversation. It is a decision. The phantom. Now, this is the part that might actually change the way you see this whole situation. What if the person living in your head isn't actually them? Dr. Dorothy Tennant was a psychologist who spent over a decade interviewing thousands of people about intense romantic obsession. In her book, Love and Limerence, she coined the term limerence, a state of obsessive attachment characterized not by who the other person actually is, but by who you have imagined them to be. Here is where it gets fascinating. Research found that when we are attracted to someone, we consistently misread their neutral expressions as positive. A blank face reads mysterious. Ambiguity reads meaning. We are projecting a fully formed character into a canvas they didn't paint. Think about that for a moment. A neutral expression, something as small as slightly held gaze, gets unconsciously decoded by the attracted brain as something intentional, something significant, and something meant for you. You are not obsessed with a person. You are obsessed with the projection of a character your own imagination wrote. Cast in their image, every ambiguous silence you decoded as longing, every vague message you read as hidden meaning. That was your creative mind at work. And here is the part that should genuinely surprise you. That projection tells you almost everything about your own capacity for depth, devotion, and imagination, and almost nothing about them. Turn it inward. The good thing about understanding others is that it makes you understand yourself. What these three forces reveal is not a story about someone who doesn't care about you. They reveal a story about someone who cares very deeply, craves connection, meaning, and reciprocity with such intensity that their mind will construct an entire relationship out of ambiguity and silence. That is not a flaw. That is a feature of a rich inner world. But the question worth sitting with is this. What unmet need made you so hungry for this particular signal? What were you hoping they would confirm about you? Because that answer belongs entirely to you, and that no one can take it back. The person who doesn't think about you is not the problem. The untrained mind that won't release them, that is where your work begins. And that work is entirely yours to do. Subscribe if you want more of this, and comment what's one thing you were obsessing over that was really just about you. I'll see you in the next one.